Everyone, welcome to the Insights by Design office hours. Wanted to take today and spend a little time and answer some questions that I get a lot from the community. The predominant question that I get is really about how to learn analytics and how to break that down. Analytics is really a skill. Often, when we speak about analytics, we bring up tools, Excel, languages like SQL, Python, R. But analytics is really a skill set of taking information and synthesizing insights. Being able to do that is the critical skill behind data analytics. It's not always the person who can program the best who gets promoted. It's often the person who can make the most impact. And you can make a lot more impact when you know the business and you have the context of the business and are able to really supercharge that decision making. So, if I was going to get started today learning data analytics, I have a roadmap that I often share on LinkedIn. And it's a little bit deceptive because it shows data analytics as a linear path, but it's not really. But this is the order of skills that I would learn, but often you're learning multiple of them at the same time. For instance, I do recommend beginning with Excel. I feel like Excel is the easiest tool to use in order to practice the skill of data analytics. So, Excel is really helpful. The functions and learning what a function is and how they work, and then using XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP and joining data sources together. It's helpful to get that understanding of the functionality because then when you take those skills and translate them into SQL, or you want to learn SQL, you can relate back those concepts to what worked in Excel. And so I have a lot of success teaching students SQL, but showing them like, here's what you do in Excel, and they're familiar with that. And here's how you would do that in SQL and mapping those concepts over. So that's one reason I think you really should start with Excel. But who would you recommend to learn Excel from? There's so many things on LinkedIn, on the internet. There's things you can pay for, there's free things. And it's been years and years since I've had to learn Excel. And I do teach Excel on one of my courses, but it's really from the perspective of statistics. So if I was going to learn Excel, I would really go to Layla Garani, her YouTube channel. Layla's channel is awesome. She's a fantastic educator. She also works with Maven Analytics. So if you're familiar with that learning platform, Maven's fantastic, and she's their Excel instructor. If you want something more structured and you want to pay, there's benefits between free and paid. Well, it just depends on your needs and what you want to accomplish. So that's another big question that folks will ask is, is it worth paying for, or can I do this for free? Well, what's the benefit of paying for something, especially in education? You need a few things to be successful in learning data analytics skills. So you need to be able to get the technical proficiency. You need to have accountability so that you keep moving forward. You need to have feedback so that you can learn what you did right and what you did wrong. And you need support, some kind of community or support structure to help you move along. The last thing you need is really an organized curriculum. You can definitely learn data analytics on your own, but it takes discipline and some forethought into making sure that you don't have critical gaps in your knowledge. Most of the education that's free online is really good, but it's piecemeal. So you need to be able to pull it together into some kind of comprehensive plan and then go step by step. So you totally can learn it for free. But the value of paying for it, I'm not affiliated with any paid education for data, no boot camps, anything like that, is that you get, one, it's their job to make sure that the curriculum is top notch, that there's no critical gaps. Two, they provide that support and accountability and feedback. It's all built in, right? So you can put the extra effort on and accountability on yourself. But I do find that probably 80% of the people who I mentor and help can't do it on their own. They do need that extra support structure and accountability and curriculum management from a paid course. It's just my thoughts, but totally possible to do it on your own. So Layla, she's the Excel OG. I love her style. I think her videos are really great, very helpful. I also think that if you're looking for a project, Alex Freeberg, of course, very good project. He's got the bicycle dashboard project on his Alex the Analyst YouTube channel. And you can see his boot camp videos, which he's put in order. Makes it very, very helpful to understand what he covers and what he doesn't cover. Is his boot camp comprehensive? No. Is it really great? Yes. So for a free resource, it's really fantastic, and you can plug in a lot of those gaps in the boot camp playlist on your own. So it gives you a really great place to start. And once you've really, really mastered Excel, you've gotten very comfortable with it. You can interact with the business. You can do analysis on the fly. That's when I would start learning SQL. But going back to that roadmap, I wouldn't suggest learning, okay, now I know Excel in isolation, and now I know SQL in isolation. You really need to bring them together. So as we look at the roadmap, and that's why I say it's deceptive, it's really not a linear process. After Excel, I would then go on to some kind of visualization or dashboard skill set, because as you do that, you're going to be able to learn the SQL required or the Excel skills required in order to build an effective dashboard. So I think after you've got the foundation of Excel, you need to have a project-based learning focus, because then you're going to learn the right skills in SQL in order to be an effective data analyst. Some of those skills are going to be aggregating data. It's going to be cleaning the data. How do you handle nulls? It really depends on your experience and the business context. All of those things. How to join multiple sources together. At Dremio, it's super easy to join multiple sources together on-prem or in the cloud. But if you're not on Dremio, how do you do that? If you've got SQL Server and a data lake, how are you going to deal with that in order to drive a unified dashboard, whether it's Tableau, Power BI, Qlik, Looker, any of those? So I would definitely do it project-based. And a cheat code that I have, this is a fantastic resource, is dashboarddesignpatterns.github.io. Absolutely fantastic free resource. Love it. So the dashboard design types help you really understand, what am I trying to accomplish and what does that typically look like? So this free website will show you what are the design patterns based on structure, color, iconography. And I particularly like the dashboard genres, because you know what you're making. Are you making a big infographic? Are you making a static dashboard? Are you making a really interactive dashboard? Because they have different techniques. For instance, this embedded mini dashboard, right, are different than what you would create if you're doing just a static update. You know, is it an executive KPI dashboard where it's pros and cons, yes and no, up or down? Or are you making something that people really want to drill into? Is the purpose of it for them to perform their own analytics? And you need to make sure that those tables that they drill down into are super clean, easily manipulated, easy to export. And so dashboard design patterns is a fantastic free tool that I think everybody can use in order to figure out, okay, here's what I want to accomplish, and here's what that could look like. Build a mock-up. You can use Draw.io. If you're still in school, you can get a free account for Figma and just make a wireframe. Figure out, like, here's in general what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's the business need. Here's the best information that they need in order to fulfill that need. And then here's the best way to structure that information in terms of location, shape, size, color. Are you using a table? Are you using an icon? Are you using, up or down? Are you showing things over time or just at a moment in time? Is that a map? All those things come into account, and it can be daunting to really learn it. So one, I'd say just build dashboards and figure out the back end either through SQL or Excel. Preferably SQL, but your first one totally can be Excel, and you can pop that into Power BI or into Tableau and build something really great. If you're trying to figure out what type of chart to use, Jan Holtz, who's awesome and just started his own company, has created on janholtz.com, go to websites, and he's created these really great open source tools to help you understand what chart would be best, and then depending on which language that you want to use, how to create that chart. So he provides sample code for all the charts in R, Python, JavaScript, D3, React, because he's a software programmer who happens to be amazing at data visualization. So let me show you Data to Viz. So based on what you want to accomplish, it makes it super easy to figure out, like, what kind of data are you dealing with? Numeric, categoric. You can approach it that way, network, both, right? So he makes the decision tree to help you see which type of charts could be best. Maybe you decide, I do want a donut chart. That's what my company's used to. Great. But now how do I build it? Super easy to do drag and drop on like Tableau, Power BI. But if you're doing something more custom and you want to do it in R or Python, well, guess what? Jan has created that. So he shows you, here's the code in order to make this particular chart using matplotlib. Are there related charts? How do you do those? Fantastic resource. He's put a lot of work into this. So I think that from Data to Viz is a bookmark that everybody should keep.